And how I approach the talks every week, what I'm going to put up, I think about what's going on. I mean, there are literally thousands of talks in the archive, so it's a big job. And there's a man that I've mentioned before who lives up in Ontario, and he's been enormously helpful in creating a kind of a way for me to search out the whole website topic by topic and find the things that are interesting. He's also been the force behind the midweek excerpt series, the clip series, of identifying those. And the thing that I've really enjoyed, really since last year when I did the 3 weeks in a row of the 9/11 was the kickoff. Those three those were actually edited together out of 6 or 7 different talks, and I liked the idea of organizing Alan's talks to present to you thematically, and I think it just allows you an opportunity to really get in there to, as Alan would say, for the heart of thinking. You get to hear it repeated. You get to hear the same themes over and over, and it kind of makes those new grooves in your gray matter. And it also, the not sure. Basically, I write not sure in a similar way to how I saw Alan do the audio. Life is busy here for me, and one of the things that keeps me busy is it's a similar thing to what I did in Canada. I cook, I feed people, and that's, it's good. I like to feed people, so I have cooking to do, and that keeps me busy, but it's an opportunity when I'm down chopping something up or doing whatever, I can listen to audio, and I can think about that, and, for whatever my obligations are for the week, whatever it is that I need to do, I try to listen to the talk of Alan's that's going up on a Sunday 2, 3, maybe 4 times. I'll think about current events that are happening that tie into what Alan was talking about whenever it was, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, because chances are it's going to resonate pretty strongly with what's happening now. And after I've listened to him, kind of a last-minute thing on the Saturday before it's going to go up on Sunday. Well, it's last minute because it's spontaneous, because that's how Alan worked, that's what I saw, that's what I do. Because there's something about it that is just, it's off the top of my head. Sometimes by the time I get done writing, it could be 3 or 4 in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I'm really tired. I don't even have time to read the thing that I put up, and I can just let Weston check it for typos, and hopefully he catches them, and if he doesn't, we can grab them and put it back up again, because the spirit of what I'm doing, and I thought about this, is, yeah, I'm writing, but it's really a conversation that I'm having with Alan. I've listened to the talk that's going up. I've thought about the concepts, and I'm talking to him about it. And it has thrilled me that a few folk have said it. That sounds like, the writing sounds like, it's like something Alan would say. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the biggest praise that you could ever give me. And I that just makes me happy. And, but I'm not doing it for praise. I have no idea how many people, but I know people are reading it around the world. I heard there's folk literally all over the world who have said that it keeps Alan alive for them, and it inspires them, and likewise, I'm getting something back from you, because the New Age series that I wrote about for 8 weeks, I wouldn't have ever crossed my mind to single that out as a series of talks to put up or write about it, but a listener from South Africa asked me to. He said, there are a lot of people down here that are, I guess if you want to say, the truth movement, the resistance, obviously, is around COVID and the vaccines. And he said there's so many people that are involved in whatever it is, whether it's anti-masking or anti-vaxxing or whatever you're anti. they've made sure to provide you, well, we just need to, love each other and, vibrate up into a higher place, a happy place. And if there's all of us are vibrating love, then we're just going to turn this thing around. And that's one example, but there's a lot of that kind of thinking that has indeed crept into people resisting. Or one of the things that I noticed in researching it wasn't just the happy, positive place of it. It's the fact that the kind of thinking that is promoted by that kind of New Age thinking. Well, cut to the chase here. The bottom line is, newsflash, you're not God. And that is the whole lie behind it. We can become God. We can change our reality just by the thoughts that we put out. Well, an individual can obviously do an awful lot with his thoughts. We all heard Alan say that. Yeah, that is a given. But when really bad people want to kill us, we don't get to think our way out of that. There's a little bit of standing up and saying no, taking a stand, taking a position. And it's not about the power of positive thinking. Anyway, that was an example of a listener giving me an idea, and I ran with it, and I personally benefited from it. And one of the interesting things was, of course, I was very familiar with Alan's work and his archive, but it wasn't until that exercise was placed upon me that I saw, especially in the early years before he went on RBN, how much Alan talked about the New Age. It was such a recurring theme, and that was very interesting and thought-provoking for me. And I don't want to blather on here much longer, but there are a lot of things that I want to do to bring you interesting material and to bring you Alan's work, but put together in a way that you don't go, well, I heard that one before. I mean, if you feel that way about Alan's work, well, I don't know, because I could listen to those talks over and over again. That's just me. But I know that for me, I've had to work through the loss and the grief. I've had to soul search. What is it that I feel that I need to do? Obviously, I think if we're talking to each other and being honest about what we face and what we're looking at and the fallout and the death counts and the lies and deception and censorship, it is very bleak, very dark. And you look around and you see what is happening. It's not just the suicidal people that contact me. That it's people. There are some people that I know that I thought would be strong, could get through this, But we all remember that Alan said after 9/11, the hardest thing to do is just going to be to hold on to your sanity. And I think now that we have all lived through COVID, we see the fallout around us. We might know people who are victims of the fallout or made what we think is the wrong decision, and now they're going to have to suffer with the consequences of that decision. And we see kind of the us versus them, the distrust of one another that has been created for us to fall into. And a lot of people are suffering and lonely, and I see it. I hear from people who are losing it. It's different. Everybody's got a different way in which they've lost themselves. They've lost themselves into pornography addiction or drugs or alcohol because they just despair of any kind of a future. And I understand what they're saying and what they're seeing. And, if I just put it aside, if I say, okay, yeah, you know that the moment that you plug that mic into the computer, the moment that you publish whatever blathering came out of your mouth, that's the moment that target goes up And people start the, peanut gallery. She shouldn't, she can't, but I did get the gift of 24/7 with his insights, his wisdom, his unique way of looking at the world, and being with him was a crucible. It was a trial by fire, and you fish around as a woman. You're looking for that man to give you the compliment. Oh, you're such a great cook, and you're so cute and sweet, and blah blah blah. And it was intense. We didn't get our Sunday drives or our weekends away or our summer vacation. It was 24/7 to this work, and it could be pretty intense. And sometimes, I'd hear it if I wasn't living up to the demands, and so I might fire back with, "Yeah, but what do you like about me? Come on." And I will share with you the best compliment that Alan Watt ever gave me. A couple of 3 times he said to me that what he loved about me was that I had fortitude. And just so you don't have to look that word up, that's strength of mind that allows one to endure pain or adversity with courage. That strength, force, power to attack or to resist attack. It's mental power of endurance, patient courage under affliction, privation, or temptation. Firmness in confronting danger, hardship, or suffering. And I just love that. I love that he saw me that way.